Challenge coaching. In challenge coaching, you're looking at solving a problem or responding to an opportunity. Solving a problem or responding to an opportunity. Challenge coaching brings a group of teachers together. Now, if I identify a common problem, when we look at the results of our math scores, we can see that 7th graders on the fraction section of the state test are scoring lower than we'd like. We can bring a group of 7th grade math teachers together. We could plan our lessons together. We could then observe in each other's classrooms as we were teaching that fractions unit. We could be giving assessment tests ongoing during the unit. We could be bringing those tests back to a challenge coaching team, and we're looking at making a discovery or a breakthrough that would help us address that problem together. Okay? Now, many schools do challenge planning, but they leave off the coaching piece. They don't take it to that next step of observing each other as they're implementing the possible solution to the problem. Okay? Solving the problem together. I worked with a high school that had gotten lots of national awards for high student performance. But in that particular school, they identified 20 students who were juniors who had yet to pass the state's math test. As a school, they chose those kids as a challenge focus for the next school year, which meant everybody had a list of classes those kids were in. They observed those students in math classes. They observed them in non-math classes. They collected data, they brought it back together, and they looked to create ideas for how to go and teach math to that group of 20 students who had yet to hit the benchmark that the district was setting for itself. It's a great example of challenge coaching. I was working in a school in upstate New York, and the principal had made this offer. Any of the tenured teachers could choose to opt out of being evaluated by the principal in the coming school year if they instead voluntarily joined a peer coaching team. It's a group of teachers who were going to get together and coach each other during the year. And then at the end of the year, they could sit down and share with the principal what they had learned from peer coaching, and that meeting with the principal would take the place of their formal evaluation for the year. And what the teacher made the offer, out of 25 teachers who were eligible, 24 volunteered. Teacher named Tom said something like this: "Let her get it in here and do my evaluation. That's her job, not mine." But poor Tom, he got stuck going to all the professional development on coaching, because they used all their staff development days that year to do coaching training, and I came in and did the training. And about the 3rd round of training I'm doing, I invite Tom to be my model up here. And as Tom and I begin to talk, he tells me about this 5th grade student who's just having a lot of difficulty with. And after we're talking for a while out in the audience, the 4th grade teacher who had the student the year before yells out to the group, "You know, last year," and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, would you join us up here?" And pretty soon she brought her chair up. And next thing you know, I had the art, music, and the PE teacher up there. And I had the librarian and the nurse up there. And we decided that we would spend a week following that girl around the school. All those teachers agreed to go into each other's classrooms and just collect data. How did she behave in math? How did she behave when she was in PE? How did she behave when she was in the library? Collected all the data. Then the team met with a special ed teacher. The special ed teacher came up with a contract to put the student on that would follow her throughout the school. Wherever she went, she had to take the contract. Now the teachers went back into their classrooms, and they now coached each other technically to see if they were all implementing the contract with the young girl the same way. And Tom volunteered to join peer coaching. You see, Tom found out a problem in his classroom wasn't his, it was ours, which means we're now beginning to build relationships. So we started with problem solving, went to technical, ended up with relationships. Now, what could opportunities look like? I worked with a high school English department, 9 teachers in the department. We took Lord of the Flies and wrote a critical thinking discussion activity around Lord of the Flies. One teacher went in, conducted the lesson, and videotaped the lesson. She came back to the department meeting where the department watched her videotaped, coached her, made modifications and changes in the lesson, handed it off to the next teacher, who went into his classroom, taught it, videotaped it, came back to the department, watched the videotape, coached him, made modifications, changes in the lesson, handed it off. 9 people all taught the exact same activity, videotaped it, and kept polishing it. By the end of the year, they had this polished lesson on the shelf. Could you see a science coach doing that with a group of teachers? Could you see a math coach doing that with a group of teachers? Literacy coach. The teachers would be working together to create something to impact student learning as an opportunity.